Hello and welcome back to HR Stew. My name is Regina Dyerly.
And I'm Holly Nehls.
And this is HR Stew.
In today's episode, we're going to do something a little different. Like Jimmy Kimmel's segment, Celebrities Read Mean Tweets, we're going to read some mean and sometimes funny tweets about HR that we come across. Now, we know that HR can sometimes get a bad reputation, but we believe in taking the good with the bad and addressing any misconceptions or criticisms head on. As HR professionals, we're constantly working to improve the employee experience and create a positive workplace culture. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and get ready to hear some not so nice things about HR. But don't worry, we will be taking the opportunity to respond to those tweets and provide some context about the important role HR plays in any organization. I have printed out the mean tweets, and each of you are going to take turns reading them and responding.
Holly, you want me to start?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Regina.
All right, here's the first one. A tweet from Aziza Joseph. Stupid human resources with their stupid rules will help you out, but not enough to actually help you out. Okay, well, somebody's hurt. I don't even know what to say about that because our rules are not designed to help one person.
Right.
They're there to, I mean, look, some rules maybe are not great rules, but most rules are designed to fix a problem or to prevent problems from happening, right? So I'm sorry, Aziza Joseph, that it didn't work out for you.
Yeah, I can't. People in...
Just read the next tweet.
Okay. I was going to give some... I'm sorry. Okay. Here's a tweet from @retractment. Is it a prerequisite of the job for human resources teams to be incompetent, bordering upon plain stupid? #asking for a friend. Well, I don't think any of us here are incompetent or bordering upon plain stupid. It sounds like he got his feelings hurt or something happened that didn't.
We're sounding very HR in our responses. There's no question. I mean, look, we've talked about this in previous podcasts. I'm sorry, Holly, I'm hopping in on this one because maybe my feelings are hurt by being called bordering upon plain stupid. But there's good people and bad people in every profession. Certainly there's, probably some people in HR that are,
not meant to be in HR.
Not meant to be in HR. But, I mean, this is somebody was mad about something specific, and they're tweeting because they're mad. Mm-hmm. Some of the celebrity ones are like, what are you mad about? Like the tone of someone's voice, someone's accent. Like if you read some of them, it's pretty harsh. Like it's really attacking specific things about a person. The shape of their eyes or the shape of their mouth or their teeth or whatever. It's like, that's really hurtful. I'll take this over that, I guess.
So the short answer to your question or this person's question is no, it is not a prerequisite for us to be incompetent, bordering upon plain stupid.
Okay. It's not in the job description.
Nowhere in there.
As a minimum requirement.
I wouldn't even categorize it under other duties as defined, as assigned.
That's fair. All right, here's another one from Souterhound. I haven't met a human resource manager that isn't a complete Well, I think that's in the same vein as the last one. I mean, clearly there are some people in every profession that certainly are holes. But Holly, you always say this, if it's everybody else, if everybody else has a problem, it's you. Like if every single HR person you've met is an hole, I think you may want to look inside.
That's fair. I want to know how many human resources managers he's actually met. Because have you worked at the same company your whole career?
Holly, I want to read this next one just because it speaks to me a little bit. From Jeff Wants Poppers. Human resources is still trying to push the concept of the new better. What the hell does that mean? Who comes up with these dumb phrases? I could tell you what, not human resources, okay? Not human resources. We are paid to do a job, and I could promise you, set the stage, set the scene. There's a meeting where some people in leadership or marketing or whatever are deciding, or the board members are, and they think this is brilliant.
It's genius.
Because they don't talk directly to the employees, right? So, and human resources is probably like, hey, how about we give across the board raises or something actually that will help them around? They're like, nah, let's just come up with this phrase. That'll fix everything. The new better is here. I mean, if they think that HR is like communicating this and not internally cringing or internally rolling their eyes, they're crazy. They're crazy.
All right. The next one is from @SlickSista. Is that not what it is?
I know. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, I'm going to redo that. From @SlickSista.
Just keep going when you get a chance.
I hate when turn a good argument into a human resources event. Like, we are not here for unity.
So they don't want us to resolve issues either. So
I feel like the visual I have in my head is a boxing ring. Like, ding, 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 here's your human resources event. You in this corner is from the line.
Customer service versus sales.
Put your gloves on. Like, that's the visual I get from this comment.
Yeah, but I mean, really, but the intent here is you don't want us to resolve things. So we can't, there's no winning is the end result here.
Right. And, I understand you are not all here for unity. I completely understand that. However, every single one of us has to come into this workplace and live or work for 8 to 9 hours a day. And we don't want to deal with all the arguments and stuff that goes on in the background. It makes for not a fun day at work.
But we have to. Because we're the face of a lot of the negative communications or the end result of the bad behavior or whatever it is, we're blamed. And a lot of times it's not our decision, but sometimes it is. It's our recommendation.
Right. But turning it into an event could mean we're making this a great organization. We're creating the new better.
Oh, God. Okay, here's the next tweet from Shadow_Lander. Human resources, the career path for party poopers, wet blankets, snitches, bitches, and tattletales. Well, I don't think that I am any of those things. Because if I couldn't laugh at some of the ridiculous scenarios that I find myself in or having to manage, I might lose my mind.
Agreed.
So I'm definitely not a party pooper, but I could see how when we're enforcing rules, when people are breaking them, or when people are behaving badly, or not doing their job, or any of the things that we have to deal with, yeah, that could be a downer for some people.
I know. But snitches, I mean, do we go off telling everybody? No, only the necessary people need to know these things. I don't like this one.
I haven't liked one yet.
That's fair. All right, so our next one is from @Sheena Stark. With human resources, they deserve it.
What do we deserve? Raises? More money? More promotions?
I first off want to say I don't know that I would mess with human resources just based on all these other tweets that you've given us that we're capable of. I mean, don't mess with the cops.
Seriously, that's true. A lot of mixed messages here. All right, tweet from S537. Just a random thought based on experience. Human resources and people who work in this department are the most inept, rudest people. Not helpful and work their best to screw up everything. I think that most HR people are not rude. There's like a kind of a practiced human resources voice and vernacular, right? I mean, so us not telling you what you want to hear does not make us rude. I think also most HR people actually would prefer not to screw up everything.
Right.
In general, if they want to keep their jobs. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything more to say about that because it's more of the same as some of the others. Inept, rudest people. Interesting.
And I don't think if we were the rudest people, can you imagine how awful all of our life would be?
You know how many lawsuits there'd be?
Right.
Even more so.
Right.
More than there is right now.
All right, so the next one is from @Albrifault the third.
That's how I read that.
Okay. I despise human resources to the core. When I start a company, I'm going to have project groups and divisions do their own hiring. Screw the bitches. Have had too many bad experience with them.
Okay, so you think that HR only does the hiring?
Right.
Seriously.
So after you start a company and you are walking around going, screw the to all these employees and you get a lawsuit, a big lawsuit, then come talk to Human Resources
Oh my God.
Department.
Last week there was 8 different legislative updates.
Right.
Like across the different states that we manage. 8. That was last week.
Right.
So yeah, good luck with your project groups.
So it's funny, my oldest, he has these big dreams and he says, Mom, when I start a company, I'm going to make sure that we have human resources or have you, because he overhears some of these conversations. He's like, this is insane. There's no business owner that can navigate this and, still be able to proceed with where they want to go in business. He's a smart boy.
He is smart.
So that was our last tweet. I have to say, these mean tweets, people sitting behind computers and putting us in a box, really irritates me. And I think people need to be careful what they say on the internet, because nothing's ever erased and it can come back to bite you. Somehow, some way, it can come back to bite you.
I think, I'm not even offended by these tweets because Twitter does seem to be an emotional outlet for people. So something bad happened. So they're responding to something that went wrong for them. So, yeah, I mean, it's not easy to read this stuff about a profession that you've worked in for now going on 30 years, obviously. But people do have bad experiences, and there are HR people that are not awesome at their job.
Right.
Or they are awesome at their job and they work for companies that are not awesome, right? So, yeah, I think, what you're saying is true. I think you should be careful because someone in talent acquisition could be looking up. I mean, we look up to see what's out there on people, and companies have to be careful.
Right.
It's about who they're hiring. Does someone want to hire someone that makes emotional statements online? Not necessarily. Not that they're going to care whether or not it's about HR or not. It's just the point that you kind of put it out there.
Right.
Right? It just shows a lack of restraint potentially that may not be desirable. So I wouldn't do it, but I'm also, later in my career, maybe.
I saw a meme the other day. Thank God they didn't have all of these social media and cameras
Lord,
in
yes.
our 20s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they had cameras, Holly.
Well, not cameras like they have now, where it's so easily accessible and on your phone as soon as it's fair.
During this part of the podcast, we go to the online forum called Ask HR, where individuals can ask HR professionals questions and get answers. This user asks employer asking for all social media usernames. My employer has a social media policy that defines social media as basically any account where you can create content, including things such as Reddit, Second Life, MySpace, etc.
When was this posted? These are all usually recent, right, Shelby?
Yes.
Like a month ago? MySpace and Second Life?
I know.
What
I didn't
exactly is Second Life?
Who's used MySpace after 2000, what? 6, 7?
something like that. Mm-hmm. They recently asked all employees to provide their social media usernames, which I believe is borderline illegal. I brought this up to them, and they assured me they'd review it, but I've heard nothing. Can they require me to provide all social media usernames at risk of termination?
I don't think so, that they can require you to provide all social media usernames. What, you're making a face, do you think?
Well,
something?
it's not illegal. I don't believe it's illegal to ask for that or require that. We're not attorneys, but I don't believe that it's illegal. I think it's a bad practice. But I don't think it's illegal.
Bad practice is better terminology.
Okay.
I mean, if I have on my social media that I'm associated with Vita HR, then yes, I have an association with this company. I shouldn't be on there posting, today my manager, she was just a piece of work. And I'm affiliated with the company on my social media. I don't think that should be the case. But if it's your personal use, you do it outside of company time, you never mention the company you work for, there's no affiliation with the company you work for, then you can do what you wish, but keep in the back of your mind that, again, if it's in writing, it's there forever. It can come back to haunt you.
I think that, again, I think it's a bad practice, and I think it shows a lack of trust, in your workforce. However, we have seen companies, even small businesses, be destroyed in reviews on Yelp, on Google, etc., based on the actions of an employee that has nothing to do with work or them even identifying themselves as someone that works at that business. Someone that's in the back of an Uber acting crazy, and then someone figures out where they work, and then there's 100 one-star reviews for a business that had nothing to do. It was a low-level employee that was not part of leadership there behaving crazy. It's scary times because you could really be held liable and accountable for the actions of employees who people consider representatives of your business. So while I guess I see what they're trying to do, I think there's no way out of navigating that other than swift responses when employees do act out of turn. And we see that. Right. We see like they're no longer affiliated with this, organization or whatever. So for this specific employee, I mean, they could stand their ground and say, I think that's its invasion of my privacy, but they may lose their job if it's a policy that they're requiring. They may not do anything with that information, but they want to know. I don't know. This is tricky. Like, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't ever recommend that they ask for people's usernames. Just Google somebody's name; it'll pop up. You don't need their actual
if they're doing the work to hide who they are, then let them do it.
Yeah, yeah.
If you can't find out who they are, then no one else can either. Maybe.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not a cyber stalker.
And if you're asking for this for somebody who is a customer service rep, I mean, you're in there answering the phone and you're not out in the public eye representing the company on a day-to-day basis, then I don't think that you really need those as an employer.
It's always interesting to see the lines that companies will draw, with their employees.
Right.
So be prepared for backlash because people are not going to want to provide that information. So I guaranteed there will be a change and they'll stop doing it.
Right.
They'll lose people, or people will be in their Indeed reviews, that people won't apply there or something.
That is going to bring our episode to a close. Thank you all so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. If you have any mean tweets or HR questions you would like to share, message us on Instagram at hr.stew. I'm Holly.
And I'm Regina.
And we will see you next time on HR Stew.